Hello my little stow warriors, yep, and I'm back with another little build, something, I always say this, something a little bit different, but if you watch any of my previous videos you'll know that I've always wanted to do, you know, stick to the cannon style build, and in PvP cannons don't really cut the mustard that well, not with all the Entropic shit anyway, but I've been working on a little sort of crossbreed Entropic cannon build. When I say cannons I don't mean any of this pussified turret stuff that people do when they just plasma console it out. I mean cannons, dual heavy cannons, please people. You know, so right, let's warp out of here and I'll show you the build. Don't mess with the cat, don't mess with Darth Cat, he will screw you up, boys. Alright, let's get into space and I'll show you what I've got. Obviously I've had to go for the, because it's Entropic build, cannon build, I've had to go for the Ouroboros Raider again. Yeah, I had to stick with that little badass ship. It's pretty sweet, you know, it's a bit squishy, I'm not gonna lie, but if it's cannons you've got to go for a Raider really. It's the only way forward, so... Right, there's loads of little things, little stuff that you have to do here to actually make cannons, dual heavy cannons, worthwhile in PvP or even the game at all, if you're going to do a sort of mix up with entropic damage and exotic as well. So, and there's a couple of things that unfortunately I'm going to have to change in a future build, but at the moment I'm stuck with what I've got because I had a little cryptic bug the other day. I don't know if anybody else does this, but when you sort of, you know, swap your ships out and get new ships and whatnot, you dry dock some and you get rid of ones that you've bought from Zen Store, but when you discharge the ships, I'm a bit lazy and I can't be asked to drag everything over, so I just discharge it, then I do the old, you know, what is it, replicator, retrieve, and then just go retrieve, you know, do it like that. I cheat, I'm lazy. So I did that with a couple of ships the other day and then it DC'd, it bloody cut out just as I did it. And obviously when you log back in you can't retrieve any of your shit, so I lost billions of pounds worth of exotic epic stuff. Guys, I almost cried. Right, anyway, let's go on with the build, what I've got. Alright, so yes, I'm going for phasers. I know people say phasers are shit and you should stick with disruptors for damage and all that sort of crap, but I like these phasers. I really like these quads. I don't know, there's something about them. I know they take the engine power, but something about these little bad boys, they look awesome. They seem to hit hard enough, you know, this whole sort of set seems to hit well. Obviously if you put coalition disruptors on it hits better, but you seem to get more shots for your money with this thing. This thing really on the cannon rapid fire is a shitload of bullets, you know, it's like having 4 dual cannons on your ship for one sort of thing. So I love this thing. I mean, people slag it off, but I love it. It looks awesome. The disruptor one's even cooler and sounds even better. Wish I could do that, but I'm not a KDF, so stuck with the old phasers right now. Alright, so going through the build, we've got the neutronic up front. It's either the neutronic or the quantum. I think the neutronic hits harder, so you might as well have that because you're going to be trying to face them most of the time, so I'm choosing the torpedo that hits harder, so the neutronic. Then, as I did before, the phaser, quad cannons, blah blah blah. Then go for the standard sort of quantum phase dual heavy cannons. I need to upgrade all this sort of shit. I haven't bothered before because I don't really use them that often, but this obviously needs an upgrade. Then we go for the Agni phases. I don't know how good these actually are, but you know, it says there that it sort of disables somebody, what is it, 2.5% chance, physical damage, blah blah blah, not physical, phaser damage, and disable for 2.56. I mean, if that works, I don't know how well in PvP, but you know, they're good enough. Otherwise I'd probably go for maybe my elite phaser dual heavy up there, probably because this one hasn't really got any accuracy, so for PvP it's probably a bit shite. But I'm trying it out for now because I've got other things that boost my accuracy. I'm trying it out, so whatever. Otherwise I'd have that elite on there for the shield proc and everything. Okay, for ship sets, right, this is where it screwed me over because I don't know if you remember my previous videos, I had the full Delta 3-piece set with the shield, what is it, ultra red up as well, but yeah, the shield was one of the things that got deleted. And that was, oh, you know how expensive those bloody things are to ultra rare, or It's a bit of a nightmare. I'm trying to bloody grind it up again. I've got to get another one. Look, where is it? Delta shield 102. Oh, I've got loads to go. So yeah, got to go back to that crap, grind that shield back up, and then obviously boost it back up to ultra rare. And I do need to get everything to epic, but they're so expensive, so I'm testing them all out. So at the moment we're going deflector because it's got the energy weapon training and the projectile training, and it's got the exotic particle gens and the control expertise. I mean, you could swap between that just for the extra particle gens and the drain to go with, because this ship, you'll see power levels are shit, so you need to get something to get your power levels up. So it's got there the control because I use a tractor beam, so I've gone for control, but I could swap it over with the solenoid for, you know, the extra exotic and the drain expertise to go with the plasmonic leach. But for now I'm going with that because it's got the extra stuff for the energy weapons and the accuracy. I'm sticking with the counter command, so it seems to be doing okay. Okay, for the rest of this, I mean, I would have had a 3-piece delta, but I've got stitch with that, so I'm stuck with that shield. But the engines, you've got to be quick. So, and as I said before, you know, I've got the tractor beam, so the control there, that 40%, 40 plus control, need that. Warp core, I love it because it's got that trajectory jump, and it's also got you know, a bit more warp core efficiency, even though that means bugger all to me. But I think the 2-piece is quite okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, 25% all damage. No, that's not right. That's the wrong one. Whoa. Why has it done that? Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't do that then. Maybe I switched it round for the 2-piece of this. Let's have a quick look. I'm just going to have a quick look at the delta. Sorry guys, I think I must have switched it before. So that's got drain expertise. So what have I got? Damage over time. So damage over time, I've got that. Let's have a quick look. Right, so what we got, damage over time is that 1113. Let's see if it changes it. Yeah, it changes a little bit. But what do I gain for the 2-piece of the delta? The 2-piece of the delta is more defense. I'm pretty high defense because I'm a little ship anyway, so I think I will go for the more damage. Yes, even though that other warp core is better. Bugger. Okay, we're sticking with the delta. Really what I want is a trajectory jump, so I always go for the trajectory jump warp cores because of that. Sort of, it helps you out in PvP to just jump out of crap. If you get stuck in all the shite, you know, you can hop out quickly, or if you're running away and they're keeping up but just about, you know, within 4-5k away, you can jump out of it so you can get away. So I love that. I always use the trajectory jump one. Okay, so we're going for these engines just because they got control to go with the tractor beam then, and yeah, we're going to stick with the warp core that instead of the extra damage on this, because this, I'm not too worried about the physical damage of it. I'm more worried about the resistance rating drop there. You know, that helps with the entropy and all that sort of crap. I did try, I'm not going to get sidetracked, I'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, so we'll go back to the shields. The shields, obviously, for the 2-piece here, I hate these shields. If I could, I'll probably have a 3-piece delta, you know, because obviously the 3-piece delta, you get that extra defense, plus you get the flight speed and turn rate, which is good on a little ship. Okay, and then, but for now, I'm going to have to stick with the 2-piece here. Okay, I mean, the temporal shields are okay, I suppose. I mean, to be honest, it's got the drain expertise. That's pretty good. That's a nice little additive. So on there, that's what I need. Shields in PvP don't really mean a great deal, to be honest. You're just worried about your hull, so not too bothered. Okay, so the advanced Thoron infused polar and beam array, obviously, because I'm going to have the 3-piece here with the neutronic, the binaural gel pack. So the neutronic 3-piece for the what is it? You know, the isocataenic cannon, you know, pretty decent damage every sort of minute to 45 secs. I'm pretty sure it's 45 secs, but and then we go for the quantum phase torpedo. The only reason I've got the torpedo on the rear, maybe I should swap that for like an agony phaser turret to see if that procs more, and then swap that for another fleet elite maybe. I don't know. Is it actually worth it? I mean, I leave the quantum on there. It's okay. It does okay, and that shield regeneration thing's quite nice sometimes. Plus, as I said before, that 3-piece there you get on this is that destabilize and beam. You know, it sucks the power, so it's giving you power again. Plus, it's quite heavy damage, and you know, things like that. As you see here, I've got the Delphic tier. You know, if you're doing, say you've got the tractor beam 3 and they're stuck, you've pugged all your shit on them, plus you can do the Delphic tier, then you can do that beam thing with all your other shite as well that you got here, and it's a pretty deadly hit, so that's why I like it, and I do like that move. It seems to really mess people about, and plus in, I don't know if you've had it done on you before, but it kind of messes up your vision quite badly, sort of blinds you in the screen, so it's quite a nice little trick to play on people, so I like it. That's why I keep it there. Okay, so device wise, I'm going to stick with this red matter capacitor. Love that console, sweet, you know, 25 power levels. As I say, my power levels are shit, because to do good cannon builds you're always going to have your cannon power, you know, your weapon power maximum. You do, you know, I've tried dropping it down and then working on just the drain, boosting it up, but because your weapons are draining so much power, the power levels are sort of dropping to here during a flurry, and that's just making the hits shit. So you've got to have it maximum, really. Okay, so because you know, your AUX battery doesn't take power away when you're doing shit, you know, no matter what, not like a cannon. When you're firing that, you're just draining your power levels. So your AUX, when you've got everything and all your drain shit and all this going, it is maximum sort of thing. I mean, I'm almost tempted to swap this over and go for the Terran Task Force capacitor warp core, because it gives you that extra power levels again, but I don't know, I just find it really shit. I find the whole 3-piece or 2-piece on that really shit. It doesn't really help that much, so no, and I love that trajectory jump, so we go for that. Okay, so engineering consoles, gonna go for this because it's got the EPG to go with it. I mean, you get the flight turn rate, blah blah blah, and all that sort of crap that goes, but I'm just going for the exotic. I mean, these sort of spaces, after a while, you need to, if you're going to go for something exotic, you need to, you know, try and fill all these sort of, like, if it's just an engineering console that can go in engineering, you need to fill it with something that has like EPG or drain or whatever you're trying to boost into that. So, you know, I'd like to put that in there, but because it's got no exotic boosting shit, you know, neither's that. It's just got crit sev, so it doesn't really go in there. So you use a engineering only console into an engineering slot that boosts something else that you want to boost, if that makes any sense. Probably not. Okay, Delphic tier, I mean, as I said before, because I haven't got a specifically engineering only console that boosts exotic damage or anything, so you see like that, that's only engineering, but it doesn't give me any no, it doesn't give me anything that's really worthwhile apart from the defense and the kinetic, which would help, but bugger to it. See, that doesn't. So, oh, it gives me the control. See, maybe that would be worthwhile having because it's got the control in there, but it's not an engineering only console, so bollocks to wasting the space. Anyway, the Delphic tier, people probably don't realise, but the damage boost from this, let me show you, is ridiculous. The other one that boosts the exotic that's good is that anchor thing, but as you can see, I lost a lot of bits when I did my ship clear out thing the other day. This usually comes down to like here, and I lost a lot. So, and that was one of it, I lost the anchor. So all I've got is a Delphic tier, but as you can see here with the damage, right, what's that, 13914. Ooh, let me take it off. Oh, you bastard, I hate it when it does that. Right, let's move that to the front. Right, what was it, 13914, and it goes down to 1168, so it's quite a big drop, you know, in exotic damage, and then it also drops this, so that's 8249. Where is that? 9821, so it's quite a big jump, plus that move as well itself is sweet, you know, as I said before, if you're tractor beaming or somebody's stuck and you pug all that sort of like damage over time effect shit on them, you know, it's lovely to have those little extra moves. Those little extra moves make the game worthwhile in my eyes. So Okay, so we're going to go for this. This is where this quantum phase converter. That also, as I say, it gives me the drain, so it's a good console to have up there. Plus, it's a three-piece there with that beam and with the what are they called, quantum phase things or whatever they are. Yeah, no, it gives you that three-piece there, so destabilizing beam. So that's a sweet console. Plus, it gives them the phaser damage because, as you see here, I've got nothing to boost phaser damage, but still hitting pretty hard. Science consoles, going for this one, definitely because of all those entropic twatists like myself out there, which has forced me to go for an entropy ship. I've got to have that physical damage resistance and that kinetic resistance, plus it gives you the exotic and the control, so perfect with this sort of build. These little consoles, see there I've got the exotic particle generator one with the control as well. This one here is a drain. Maybe I should put a control in there as well, but I'm trying to keep my power level high, and as you see I've got the plasmonic leach, so I added a drain one instead. But they both go when stacking exotic damage. Maybe I should no, that's a heal, so that's whenever my heals are going. That's boosting my damage, and that's whenever I'm doing exotic damage. So if I had an exotic one, I'd probably swap that there, because I'm probably doing more exotic damage. I'm probably doing exotic damage more than I'm doing healing, so I'll probably be best having a control one of these, but in that format, so it does like the exotic damage instead. Probably be better off, but I haven't got one, so sticking with that one. Okay, and as I said before, plasmonic leach, guys, have that to keep my power levels high. I don't ever usually use this console at all. I even forgot about it because it's, you know, redundant in my eyes, but for this build it is, I have to have it. Have to. It's a pain in the ass, I have to have it, but I do. This one here, just to go with the three-piece, plus you get that 7% cooldown and the ship cap. It's okay console, but the three-piece is the main part. This one here, because it's got both the drain and the exotic particle gens, you know, as I was saying before, you've got to look for a console that boosts all the stuff you want to boost. So yeah, most people would say have this, the timeline stabilizer, blah blah blah, but I've got other things to reduce my science bridger for cooldowns, so I'm not bothered about that. It's good for my firing cycle, yes, with cannon rapid fire, but again, I've got so many things to cool down my cannon rapid fire that I don't really need this. Don't really need it, so I don't bother. So I go for something that boosts both exotic and the drain that I want. Again with this, you know, it gives me the polar on for the beam, whatever, not really worried about it. Gives me the torpedo weapon damage, which is nice, I need that. But it also gives me the exotic gens as well. So again, 37.5 for a console that can go anywhere. So obviously, you know, if consoles can go anywhere and they have exotic and drain, make sure you put them in places that don't sort of lock out Y engineer or science only. Yeah, you've got to utilize that sort of thing. Right, the console that comes with the ship. I hate having to use it, but I do, because I did like a test for like cooldowns, and without the console, yeah, it's kind of a bit not good enough for my cooldown. So I definitely needed this one, just for the tactical readiness on the stuff, because I've got no skills in my tactical cooldowns, so I needed that. Plus it gives me the extra damage. It only gives me about 68 DPS, but it's good enough. The recharge thing for 30 seconds and the firing cycle haste, that's a pretty sweet little thing, so it's a good console round, so might as well have it. There's nothing else really massively I'd probably put in there. Maybe I would swap this out for one of these sort of penetration ones, just to see if that does my cannons better penetration. And the specialist things, maybe I'd swap that out, put that there instead, get rid of that. You know, put that console there and then put one of them in there. Maybe. But who knows? As I said before, the cooldowns were too shite without it, so I put it back. Right. Okay, so that's done for the actual bits on the ship. Let me go through skills wise. Right, the skills I had to choose for this one, I did the piloting, number 1, obviously, because temporal op, it's pretty sweet, and that's a lifesaver, but it's all kind of really buggy. I find it glitches out. It glitches out in a good way. You know, sometimes you die and then 10 seconds later you can't respawn, but then all of a sudden you respawn again where you were undead. But I don't know, it's a bit glitchy. I don't really like it, so I got rid of it. Plus I don't really have any stuff to use the anomaly leash with, so just use it as a 2-1 two-way for this 10% on exotic damage, blah blah blahs, all that sort of stuff. So that's why I have that there. And obviously the pilot in number 1 is the best one, definitely for ships, because it's got everything rather than just having a sort of split between ground and space. So it's always a number 1 for me. Oh, skills. So space skills, yeah, this is where it got difficult. Obviously I had to give up on a couple of good things that I would have loved to have something else to test it out, and it seems to be working okay. I mean, usually I'd go science, I'd max it out so it's like got all 3, so I've got all of these 3 because they are, all 3 of these together are friggin' awesome, but I couldn't afford to, so I had to sort of spare some up to put some into energy weapons, and then I had to put some into hull pen because I'm trying to do cannons, and I'm thinking, will this be better for a hull penetration on cannon? Who knows, but I'm testing it, and plus the shield weakening as well, because you need the shield weakening. Without it, I've noticed it's useless. So people might say you don't need it, but you definitely do, because it makes such a massive difference without that shield weakening thing. Right. Okay. So targeting sensors, obviously max. These are the science skills. The annoying thing is usually I'd have these max, and definitely that max, but I couldn't afford to max that out. Or these 2 shields aren't a guaranteed need in PvP, but it does help obviously. But I had to give up on those 3 slots to put in there. Bit of a pain, but I had to. Okay, so always go for the ablatives. Don't worry about the energy, because these people out there with entropy and all that sort of crap, they don't worry about beam weapon damage because they're all wusses. Shield hardness, I'm not too sure how good that actually is, but I put it on there anyway because this regeneration doesn't seem to do bugger all for me. These 2 max, I don't bother with anything of these in the power levels. I know I say my power levels are shit, but these, I mean, Christ, it's barely noticeable when you put these sort of things on there. It just seems to be a massive waste to me, so I don't bother putting any on. I always put this on for the extra hull cap for your mates and yourself and whatnot, so definitely have that there. Have the mastery, absorption, I don't bother with the reflection. Have this on the max, because obviously scientific skills, they're the lifesavers, so you really need them cooling down as quickly as possible. Maybe you don't need max, but I put it on max anyway just to get my ultimate, sorry, not ultra. Usually I'd have this on max as well for engineering, but I don't need to at the moment, so I have it on 2, and I have none in tac, as I said before, so that's why I needed all the other crap before to help me cool that stuff down. Okay, right, let's go into bridge officers in a minute. We'll do that in a minute. We'll do traits first. The traits I use, right, might not be great, but they seem like they do okay. I wish I could get rid of that. I wish I could, but I can't, because you need it, because I'm a puss. Alright, okay, so ablative shell, definitely need that. Biotech patch for the hull healing, definitely need that. Give it your all when you're using your engineering skills. It gives you the dodge, that's a sweet little thing. This one for the helmsman for the evasive maneuvers cooldown reduced by 10 seconds and a flight turn rate. Yep, lovely. Inspirational leader, need that because that's just awesome. Now cannon weapon training, right, it doesn't give you a great boost, but I don't know, all the boost I can have I go for here. So what does it boost me by? Let's have a look. 2175. Let's have a look. I don't think it's even that much, but like 100 damage. 100 damage, I could either go for that just to boost up, or I could go for I mean, it's not very great, but you know, it gives you the exotic, gives you the drain, so it's 2 extra 10s for the exotic shit. But I like my cannons better, so I boost the cannons. I mean, you could go for stuff like that, you know, a bit more speed in that slot. I always use that sort of slot as a redundant sort of tinker slot. Yeah, so go for that cannons one. Sod it, I need a bit more damage. Okay, accuracy, as I said before, my weapons aren't great on the accuracy, so need that. Need the secret command codes, gives you that extra resist, confuse, blah blah blah. control effects, that's sweet. This one for the feedback loop, for all that stuff there, if you want to pause it for a second, see what that boosts. You know, it gives you extra 10% exotic damage when using hull repairs or shield heals, so that's sweet. And then it, you know, procs back over to the 10% when using your exotic, boost your, you know, hull heal, blah blah blah. It goes backwards and forwards every time you heal or use damage, so that's pretty sweet. This one here obviously is a must for the particle manipulation. Obviously, yes, my exotic particle generators are not very high, so my crit hit severity for exotic isn't very high. That's I think it's, what does it say there? It doesn't cap anywhere, does it? One of them doesn't cap anyway. Yeah, you get 250 particle gens, but there's no cap and critical severity, so unfortunately it's not that high, 37.5, but obviously with the bits I've got here I can't get it much higher. I could put other bits in here, something else that boosts exotic if I could find it there instead of that, but then that messes up the damage. You know, I'm kind of stuffed because I haven't really enough science consoles in the ship to boost the EPG much higher than 375. Which is a shame. I could do it at 385 with the particle thing I did, particle trait a minute ago I showed you. I could do it 385, but it wouldn't really boost it that much, so sod it. It is what it is, guys. I have to just stick with that sort of damage. Okay, so Starship traits. Right. As you notice, everything's just a cooldown stuff, so all hands on deck. 10% recharge on science and captain abilities. Sweet, every 5 seconds, love it. Gotta have that. Have this one here, regroup. So that's just for the engineering and the temporal op. I mean, I don't really know if I actually need this. See, that goes every time I do an Omega or a Delta. I need to test more on if I need that, because I've got, the only reason I've got that is because that's guaranteed, and then I've got this, which isn't guaranteed. See, this is damn sweet, but because I'm a little raider, I'm not always at 100%. It's hard to keep at 100% all the time. I mean, when you're at 100%, this is just one of the best things out there for speeding all this shit down, but as I say, it only works when you're at or above 80% hull, which is hard on a raider. So, bit of a pain, so I have this one here just to sort of back that up, just to help me boost these things if that's not working, because they all work anyway. All these boosts are working together, so everything's coming down really quickly. That's the name of the game anyway, plus the other things I've got there. I've got this too, that's another 7.5 bridge officer. I don't even I have it all on there. I don't even know if I need it all on there. All these reduction things that they all clash or they all help enough, but I have them on there just in case. It's kind of like a backup. I could probably put other things on there and not worry about them, but I don't know. Nervous, so I keep them on there, and it seems to get, the more I add, the better these get. So go for it. I want my reductions down. Okay, so as I said before, you got the invincible, got to have that. This one here, people probably slate it and say shit, but I think this is awesome. When I take it off, I notice a massive drop in my tractor beam damage, plus it gives you this 42 times 204 hit points. So when you're grabbing somebody, you're constantly regenerating yourself, and the tractor beam lasts for ages, so this thing's smashing them. You know, it holds people for ages. You've got tractor beam 3 with all that drain, all that control, all this, you know, when you've got all your power levels at maximum here because you've pugged everything off. Jesus, this thing really does some damage, so I love it. Definitely love it. Okay, alright, so space reps, what we're going to go for, we've got this active hull hardening. I mean, it's a must have in my eyes. When you start getting weak, it starts defending you. Good, gotta have that. With this, I either go for the armor penetration one, or I go for this 25% flight turn rate, blah blah blah. I kind of cycle between them. But as I said before, on the consoles, because I don't have that one that gives me the armor penetration, or anything that really gives me armor pen, I've decided to add that instead of the speed. Okay, this one here is the crit sev, gotta have that. This one I showed before, the 7.5 recharge, and then the exotic, bonus exotic damage. Definitely go for that. Space trait reps, active reputation ones are, you know, big green, blobber doom. This one for the get out of jail free, go invisible and fly away. Well, doesn't really work anymore. People can still see you because Entropic's chasing you, so it's telling you exactly where you're going to come out, which is a pain in the ass. And then we've got the shield gen. Oh, it's my phone, sorry. Then we've got the Tetron Cascade and this little thing. I don't even know if it does anything, but have it there anyway. It's free. Stations, right. What I go for station wise are all the people I have here are the Kremin. Was it Kremin? Kremin? I can't remember what they're called. Krenim people. So they're all temporal ops. So all their traits are again reducing. 10% reduce. Tactical bridge officers. So I've got one there. So 2 TAC ones, 10% reduction, 1 Psi one, 1 engineering one. Seat wise, yeah, people will go, what you doing? You should have rapid decay here and cascade or whatever it is. Yes, I should on an entropy ship, but again, this build relies on other people. It does well on its own, but when other people with entropy are there doing the cascade and putting entropy on for me, it helps me out even more. So it's pretty sweet. I can sort of use other people's abilities to boost mine, so it works out pretty well. I've done a few PvP games with it, and yes, when the other guys are in, you know, stacking up the entropy on your target, it helps you out, so you don't really need that shit. And plus I noticed without Omega, you know, you get battered and the damage isn't great, so I love Omega. You got to keep Omega on there. Omega's the baby. Plus 3, you got to have 3. I mean, solid people go for cannon rapid fire 3, but I'm like, bollocks to that. I'd rather go for all that damage, and cannon rapid fire 1 works just as well in my books. Just as well. Obviously it's not as many shots and doesn't last as long. I think it lasts the same amount of time, but not as many shots. But honestly, cannon rapid fire 1 works. Alright, so we go for the Omega. Then we go for the Entropic redistribution. That's like a free shot, you know, and even with all this build with your power levels not so great with your EPG, okay, you're still getting, you know, 40 to 50k hit to the hull straight away on everything with this. Every 10 seconds, if other people are putting entropy on for you, you're getting a 70k, you know. So it's sweet, you might as well have it. It's a free 10-second death shot. Sod it, everybody else use it, why shouldn't I? Then I go for the Delta because, as I said before with the trait, I've got the cooldown reduction thing using these. So I like the Delta, I like the Omega. Then I go for that, the casual reversion, for getting everybody else's bollocksy entropy off me for a change, so I have that on there. Yes, you probably should have chronometric inversion field. That is a sweet move, but I can't fit it on there, and as I said before, I rely on other people, so I wait to see somebody else pug it on somebody and I go, sweet, I'll use your entropy, thank you, and I kill them with it. So I do it like that. Okay, the Psi guy, you always have to have hazard emitters, you always have to have a Psi team. Best to have hazard emitters too, because you're more worried about your hull than you are your shields. Then I go for my tractor beam 3. I wish this was a 4-seat, because then I go for a tykens as well. I'd get a tykens in there, really mess with people's lives, but I love my tractor beam. I've fallen for this recently. I never used to use it, but what a fool I was, how good this thing is on, you know, it really messes people up, and especially with a cannon build, you can just hold them in front of you, plug all your shit, and they're done for, you know, it's lovely. So definitely tractor beam. Okay, so this one here, yep, I don't worry with temporal again. No, I'm not going to bother. No, cannon rapid fire 1 and torp spread 1 for the neutronic up front. Maybe you should go for a high yield, but I don't know, high yield just seems visually underwhelming to me, so I go for a torp spread instead. Torp spread seems more visually pretty because you get more torpedoes come out, so I don't know if it's any better or any worse than a high yield, and high yield can miss as well, so sod it, we're going for a spread. Okay, so engineering seat, go for the structure integrally collapse 3. Gonna go for that because it's got that, you know, 30% physical damage resistant for the entropy, blah blah blah. As I said before, I don't go for the rapid decay because obviously that's stripping the entropy off your person. I think it does that, doesn't it? Let's have a look. Removes all entropy from target. So in my eyes, if I'm not really putting a lot of entropy onto people, I don't really want to be removing it too much, and plus this removes it as well, so I'm not going to use rapid decay. Plus I noticed it didn't really do the 50 all damage resistance, Nah, it doesn't seem as powerful as this. Not even close. I've definitely, yeah, it definitely doesn't seem as close to that. Maybe it's because it's removing entropy as well as that, that's not working as well. But without that, I've noticed this does a lot more damage combined with structural rather than rapid decay. Put it that way. So I have that. Okay, then we go for the Orchestra Sift because it's cheesy and everybody uses it because you can placate the shit out of people using that, and it's a good little hill. And then the emergency powder engines 1. Okay, so that's that. Let's go for the little guys quick. Little guys over here, the ones we're going to go for this guy because he does the Omega, reduce the 15% for Omega and Delta because I want them on global pretty much all the time. Then we're going to go for this one for the boost of the critical severity because, as I showed before, I didn't have a great deal of critical severity, so I'm going for the booster on that one. And we're going to go for this one for the evasive maneuvers because I've got the engine power. Whenever you bug that off, you get your 7 seconds of get out of jail, run away and scream sort of maneuvers, and then when you've got your cooldown you crap yourself, so you plug that off and it comes down again. So I love that one. I mean, that's always there no matter what. I never take him off. Same with this one, I never take this off either. You got the 40% chance to remove debuffs from himself when using emergency powers. It's not that great because I've only got 1 emergency power for me. Oh, I'm not going to change it because every time I change it I just seem to get battered even more because it seems to always take off the debuff, so it's helpful to have it on there. There you go, there's that other one I was talking about before with the Orchestra Sif. You get the placate any attack of 4 seconds. Must in PvP. Must. And then we got this guy as well. After 50% chance to heal for 40% of hull. Blah 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 from the hazard emitters. So what are you doing? 40% of 12. I know it's not great, but it's a couple of thou. And it usually always works, so gotta have it. Gotta have it. Right, okay. Think we're done there, right? Okay, so layout. Okay, as you can see, power levels are a bit shit. Speed ain't that great. Base is, was it 47? I should really have that on 50, so I'm gonna nope, because I've noticed with the plasmonic leach, I've done the little test, with the plasmonic leach my engines will probably be about there, that sort of level when I'm shooting at people, and orcs will be about there, and obviously shields will be there, and then obviously when I'm going to be using other sort of stuff that does even more drains, like with engines, obviously you add that to that, so it's over a 125, so they're pretty much always at 125 anyway during a fight. Auxiliary, yeah, it's a little bit shit, it's not that great. I'm usually at about sort of 90, 95. Obviously pug that gives me 30 seconds of pretty sweet deadly attacks, but there's not really a lot more I can do to boost my engine power, my auxiliary power. I mean, there are buffs and other things that I could use, but I don't really have them. But anyway, it's good enough. I mean, I've seen the damage. You're still getting, even with like 100% orc, 100 points in orcs, you're still getting a good sort of 50-60k hit, on the whole. So that's good enough with your cannon rapid fire. That's obviously smashing the shit out of people as well. You can't go wrong, It does work. It does work. People might slag it off. Obviously, everybody will, because that's what people do in PvP. But I say it works. It hammers, and yeah, I'll show you in a video. I'll do a quick run of something. Probably got no PvPers on at the moment, so won't be able to show you that. No, never is. So we won't do that, but we'll do whatever there else is, conduit or something. Okay. Cheers for watching. See you later, guys. Bye bye.
Dana Tananing, 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 tananing ting boy. 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 With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. We done the falsifying, we done 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 falsifying. A DJ long can jump it with the rhythm and a rhyme. The DJ long can jump it with the bad bass line, bad bass line, bad bass line, bad bass, bad bass, bad bass line. Holla with the rinsing sound, holla with the rinsing sound, holla with the rinsing sound, holla with the mixing sound, holla with the rinsing 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 sound, holla with the mixing sound, holla with the rinsing sound, holla with the mixing sound. Tananing, 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 tananing ting boy. 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 With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. Holla with the rinsing sound, holla with the rinsing sound, holla with the rinsing sound, holla with the mixing sound, holla with the rinsing 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 sound, holla with the mixing sound, holla with the rinsing sound. Tananing, 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 tananing ting boy. 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 With a little bit of luck, we can make it through the night. With a little bit of luck,